Good morning, children. I hope you are all doing good by the grace of God. Shall we bow down our heads and pray? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For yours is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. God bless you all, children. Take care.
Hi students, so today we are going to see about the continuation of the previous lesson, Geography Unit 7, Exploring Continents. So in this session we are going to see about Antarctica and Australia. So before stepping into the lesson, we'll just have a short recap about Africa. So Africa consists of a mixture of landforms such as mountains, plateaus and plains, and it is not well developed due to its varied physical features, like it has Sahara Desert, and then below that there is Sahel, and then a rainforest. So because of these physical barriers, it was not well developed. And then the various climatic conditions of the Africa has varied effects on the flora and fauna of the continent. It is also called as mother continent because it has the ancestors inhabited there, and then it is also called as dog continent because it has been undiscovered for a long time. So this is the map of Australia. So let us see about Australia. So Australia was the last of all continents to be discovered due to its remoteness. So when we see Australia, it lies in the southernmost part and it is far away from all the other continents. Due to its remoteness, it was discovered last. And then Captain James Cook and the English seamen discovered Australia in 1770. Until then, before that, people don't know that there was a continent existed, Australia. Australia is the smallest continent in the world. It is the only continent that is comprises of a single country, Australia. So it has its unique diverse flora and fauna. As I said, flora means the vegetation which comprises of the plants and the trees, and fauna are the animals found there. So explain the location and size of Australia. So Australia extends from 10 degree 4 inches south to 38 degree 08 inches south latitude and 113 degree 09 inches east to 150 degree 39 inches east longitude. The Tropic of Capricorn, one of the major latitude, cuts Australia into almost two equal halves. The country extends about 7.68 million square kilometers. So what are the political divisions of Australia? As I said, Australia comprises of a single country. It has 6 states and then 2 union territories. So the 6 states were the Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, Tasmania, South Australia and Western Australia. And then the 2 territories were ACT, which is Australian Capital Territory, and Northern Territories. So each state has its own constitutions. Constitutions means the basic fundamental laws and regulations that is provided by the government to the people. And then Sydney, Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne are the important cities of Australia. Canberra is the capital of Australia. Australia has about 8,222 islands. Explain the physical divisions of Australia. So what is physical division is the topographical features like mountains, plains and plateaus. What are the physical features present in that region is called as the physical divisions. So based on this, Australia has 3 divisions because Australia is the only country which has very less irregularities. It is almost flat. So it has three physical divisions. One is the Great Western Plateau, the Central Lowlands and the Eastern Islands. Let us see them in brief. So this is the political division map of Australia, which shows the Great Artesian Basin and all those physical features. So Artesian Basin comes under the East Islands. So explain the Great Western Plateaus of Australia. So the Western Plateau of Australia is the largest physical division. It comprises of about 27 square million kilometers. So it is a large area covering the Western Australia, Southern and the Northern Territory. So the Great Victorian Desert is present in this region. So Australia is a country which is the second largest country which has more hot and desert type of climate. And what are the natural wonders of Australia? Before getting into this topic, what is wonder? Wonder means something unique or unusual. So we have lots of man-made wonders like Taj Mahal in India and then Leaning Tower of Pisa. So all these things were man-made wonders, but Australia, it is blessed with the unique natural wonders. So let us see what are the natural wonders Australia has. First one is the Ayers Rock or Uluru. Uluru is a large monolithic rock. Monolithic means a huge single rock. Mono means one. So it is a huge rock and it is found in the central part of the desert region. So it is about 863 meters above the sea level. It is one of the natural wonders of Australia. And then the next one is the Pinnacles. Pinnacle is the limestone. Limestone means it's a mineral rock which stands tall like a pillar. So there were lots of pillars that was grown without any manpower, so that is Pinnacles. So these two were the important natural wonders, and apart from this there is Great Barrier Reef, which is another man-made wonder. So this is the image of the Uluru, which is Ayers Rock, and then the Pinnacles. The pillars, like the yellow pillars standing on the lands, were the limestone pillars, which is Pinnacles. And then explains central lowlands of Australia. The central lowlands extends from Gulf of Carpentaria in the north to the Indian Ocean to the south. In the center of these two lands is a large island drainage basin of Australia, that is Lake Erie, which is the largest saltwater lake of Australia, is present in between the central lowlands. And then there were lots of artesian basins below the central lowlands. So basins were the outre, we say, that is called basins. Like when the water from the ground, it pushes out due to the forces by the rocks around them, is called basins. So explain Eastern Island and its natural features. So Eastern Islands extends to about 3,860 km from the eastern edge of the Australia. Since it is present in the eastern corner of Australia, it is called as Eastern Islands. It stretches from Cape York in the north to Tasmania in the south. The Eastern Islands is also called as Great Dividing Range because it separates the east flowing and the west flowing rivers. Australia has two important natural features that have enriched in the country in the Eastern Islands. So that is Great Artesian Basin and the Great Barrier Reef. As I said, now let us see about Great Artesian Basin. So basin is outre. So Artesian Basin is generally a water form that features out like a fountain from the ground level, and the water comes out from the ground due to the pressure of the rocks around the water body. So the Great Artesian Basin in Australia is the largest and the deepest artesian basin in the world. It extends to about 1.7 million square kilometer, and it is also a major source of water. Explain the Great Western Plateau of Australia. The Great Western Plateau of Australia is the largest physical division. It comprises almost 27 million square kilometers. So it is the large area covering the parts of Northern Territory, Southern Australia and Western Australia. The flat surface of the Western Plateau is covered by the sandy and rocky features. So McDonnell and the Musgrave ranges are located in this plateau. The Great Victorian Desert is the largest desert in Australia, and it is present in the Western Plateau of Australia. What are the natural wonders of Australia? So before getting into the topic, what are wonders? Wonders are the unique or beautiful unique features that is present in the region. So there were lots of man-made wonders like the Taj Mahal of India and then the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but Australia is blessed with natural wonders that has been grown or inbuilt there due to its natural features. So Ayers Rock or Uluru is the largest monolithic rock in the world. So monolithic means a huge single rock. Mono means single. So it is found in the central part of the arid region. It is about 863 meters above the sea level. So it is one of the natural wonders of Australia, and the next to Ayers is the Pinnacles. Pinnacles is the large pillars of limestone. Limestone is a chemical which is in a form of ore, like it's a mineral, and the limestone has been a pillars in these regions called as pinnacles. And then next to this is a Great Barrier Reef, which is also a natural wonders of Australia. And this is the picture of Ayers and Pinnacles. So Ayers Rock is the large monolithic rock, and it is about 863 meters above the sea level. And then to the left you can see the Pinnacles, which is the limestone pillars. So these pillars were not inbuilt by the man, but they just grown due to the natural conditions and the climate of Australia. Explain central lowlands of Australia. The central lowlands extends from the Gulf of Carpentaria in the north to Indian Ocean in the south. The center of these two lands lies the larger inland drainage basins of Australia. So in between the central lowlands of Australia, there lies the Lake Erie, which is the largest saltwater lake in Australia. So below the central lowlands, there are lots of huge artesian basins. So artesian basins are generally the place where the water peeps out like a fountain due to the pressure of rocks around it. So explain Eastern Island and its natural features. The Eastern Islands extends for about 3,860 kilometers and the eastern edge of Australia. Since it is present in the eastern side of Australia, it is known as Eastern Islands. It stretches from Cape York in the north to Tasmania in the south. It is also called as Great Dividing Range. Why it is called as Great Dividing Range means it divides the rivers that flows from east and the rivers that flows from west. So the Australian Alps mountain is the highest mountain range in Australia and which is covered with ice. The highest peak ranges its Mount Kosciuszko, which is 2,230 meter above the sea level, is located in New South Wales. Australia has two important features in the Eastern Islands. They are the Great Artesian Basin and the Great Barrier Reef. So let us see about Great Artesian Basin. As I said before, basin is the outre that we say, where the water that peeps out like fountain due to the pressure of rocks around them. So the Great Artesian Basin of Australia is the largest and the deepest basin in the world, and it extends to a distance of about 1.7 million square kilometer. And then the Artesian Basin is located in the west of the Great Dividing Mountain and the semi-arid part of Queensland. The Great Artesian Basin is the major source of water in the continent of Australia. And this is the picture of Artesian Basin, and then in the map you can see where the Great Artesian Basin is located. So as they say, it is present in the western southwest part of Queensland. Great Barrier Reef. So Great Barrier Reef is located in the northeast of Australia along the coast of Queensland in the Pacific Ocean. So Great Barrier Reef, it comprises of coral polyps or coral reefs. Polyps are the tiny water bodies which have soft bodies. When you see coral reefs within the water, it will be soft. When you take them out, it will be hard as a rock. So the Great Barrier Reef is the comprises of coral reefs present in the water body, and it stretches to about 2,300 kilometers. It is one of the natural wonders of the world. Apart from this, the Great Barrier Reef also serves as a protective guard for Australia, because no other country can invade Australia through sea, because the coral polyps were spread to a length of 2,300 kilometers. Explain the drainage of Australia. So drainage means the water bodies and the source of water for Australia. So Australia receives low average rainfall. Being a hot, dry country, the rate of evaporation is high. So the water that flows from river to sea is very low. So it receives very less rainfall. It covers a River Murray and its tributaries are the major rivers of Australia. This drainage is found in the interior parts of lowlands of Australia. River Murray is the largest river in Australia, and it runs to about 2,508 kilometers from Australian Alps in the Indian Ocean. Darling, Alexandria, Maroon Bridges, Lachlan and Swan are the other important rivers. Australia receives a low average rainfall because it is a hot and dry country. So the rate of evaporation will be high, and then the water that flows from river to sea is very low. The River Murray and its tributaries are the major rivers of Australia. And then the drainage basin is found in the interior parts of lowlands of Australia. As we see in earlier slides, the central lowlands, we have huge artesian basins below central lowlands. So the River Murray covers an area of over 1 million square kilometer, and which is about 14% of area of Australia. So River Murray, it runs to about 2,508 kilometer in the Australian Alps to the Indian Ocean. So other important lakes were Darling, Alexandria, Murrumbidgee, Lachlan and Swan are the other important rivers of this continent. So this is the drainage map of Australia. As you can see, there was no many rivers or tributaries. Since it gets very less rainfall, it has just one river, which is Murray, and small rivers, and these rivers were the source of water. Australia is the second largest area of extremely arid region, which is extremely hot and a desert type of climate. The Australia is divided into two types, which is the northern half, which enjoys a warm tropical zone, whereas the southern half is the cool temperate zone. The northern coastal regions experience monsoon type of climate and there is a heavy rainfall during summer, whereas the east region receives good rainfall by the east-west trade winds, and the hot desert climate extends from central lowland to the western shores. The rainfall in this region is less than 25 cm per annual. Per annual is throughout the year. The total amount of rainfall received in this region is below 25 centimeters. The Mediterranean type of climate prevails in the southern tip of Australia. So Mediterranean type of climate is the type of climate that is seen in and around Mediterranean Sea. The Tasmania gets rain throughout the year from the westerly winds. The Mediterranean type of climate prevails in the southern tip of Australia in regions around Perth and Adelaide. This is the climatic map of Australia. So the red part describes tropical zone, which receives more rainfall, and then the purple one is subtropical zone, which receives less rainfall when compared it to tropical regions. So and then the green one is the warm temperate. So this, and then cool temperate comprises in blue color, whereas the arid and grasslands were in green and yellow color. So arid means desert region. So this is the place where the Great Victorian Desert is located. Name the flora and fauna found in Australia. So as I said, flora is the vegetation, which is the plants and trees, and then fauna is the animals found in Australia. So Australia is a semi-arid region, hence the vegetative cover is not mainly composed of trees, it is composed of shrubs and herbs. Shrubs is the smaller woody plants, which is like we call pudar in Tamil Nadu, so that is shrubs, and herbs is small plants. So the plants and trees in Australia are adapted to the dry condition where they can survive a long time without water. So they are called as xerophytes. So xerophytes are the plants like cactus and all, which can survive a long time without water. And then about 80% of animals in the country are not found in any other parts of the world. So Australia has almost 400 mammal species and 140 species of marsupials. Marsupials are the animals that carry their younger ones in the pouches. So we know just probably 3 types of marsupials like kangaroos, koala and wallaby, whereas Australia has about 140 species of marsupials. Bird species like laughing kookaburra and rainbow lorikeet are the major birds of Australia. So this is the flora and fauna of Australia, where you can see kangaroo, emu. So emu is a bird which looks just like ostrich, but it is quite shorter than ostrich, and it doesn't run as fast as ostrich. And then wallaby is something related to kangaroo, but it is so smaller, and kangaroo has flat tail, whereas wallaby has curved tails. And this is eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is one of the major tree that is seen around Australia. So eucalyptus is also a xerophyte, which is they can withstand heavy drought conditions. What are the various economic activities of Australia? Economic activities of a country defines what are the activities that the countries undertake to earn profit or to earn money out of it. So Australia has agriculture, forestry, fishing, mining, manufacturing, trade and services as the major economic activities of Australia. So wheat is the chief grain crop of Australia. Rice, sugarcane, Mediterranean fruits like grapes, oranges and apricots are produced around Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne. Tasmania is known as Apple Island because it is the larger producer of apple in Australia. Sheep rearing is carried out in the cultivation in the region of warm climate. Oats, maize and barley are also cultivated to some extent. Australia is well known for its vineyards and orchards. Vineyards, it's kodi, like a grape wine. So all those things comes under vineyards, and orchards, it's fruit plantations. So cattle rearing is common in tropical savanna and sheep farming in temperate zone. So merino sheep are reared in southern Australia. Merino sheep is a kind of sheep through which we get wool. Tasmania and Victoria and New South Wales are the regions which rear wool from the merino sheep. And fishing is also the major activity of Australia. Since it is an island and it is covered by water on all its sides, fishing is a major economic activity of Australia. Marine fishing is popular in the entire coastal regions in the country. Of inland fishing is very limited due to when lots of people do fishing, the lots of fish species have been extinct. So due to which the inland fishing has been reduced to a minimal amount. And then the forest resource is also very limited. As I said, the vegetation of Australia is comprises of shrubs and herbs. No, there is no large trees, so due to which the forest resource is also very limited. Sheep industry is well developed, and in fact sheep rearing is called as cash crop of Australia. So cash crop is the crop that that has been produced in a larger amount in the country, and it has been exported to other countries for economy. So in India we have jute is a chief cash crop of India. So similarly, whereas in Australia they have sheep rearing as a like rearing the sheep or collecting wool from the sheep is the chief cash crop of Australia. And this is the merino type of merino sheep, and then this is the agricultural land of Australia. What are the minerals resources found in Australia? Minerals are the largest exports items of Australia. It contributes about 10% of the country's GDP. So GDP means gross domestic product. So how a GDP is calculated is the monetary value of a product that has been exported to another country or that gives income to the country. Based on this, GDP is calculated. Australia is the leading producer of bauxite and limonite. It is the third largest producer of iron ore and uranium, and the second largest producer of gold, lead and zinc in the world. Australia is also the fourth largest producer of black coal in the world. The cold belt of country stretches from Newcastle to Sydney in the southeastern coast. Petroleum and natural gas are obtained from the Bass Strait and the West Brisbane. Uranium is mined in the Northern Territory of Queensland. So strait is a small narrow river that connects two large seas is called as strait. So in India we have Palk Strait, which is very close to Sri Lanka, which connects Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. Gold is mined in the western desert in Kalgoorlie and Coolgardie. Lead, zinc, silver and tungsten, nickel and copper are also mined in parts of Australia. So these were the minerals that is found in Australia. What are the various industries seen in Australia? So food and beverage industries, manufacturing industry is the primary industry of Australia. Shipbuilding, information technology, mining, insurance and aviation and telecommunication industries are other important industries. Information and technology is the IT company that works on the computers, and then whereas aviation is air transportation. So these were the major industries of Australia. Explain the modes of transportation around Australia. There are just generally three modes of transport. One is landways, waterways and airways. So landways comprises of roadways and railways, and then airways is aeroplanes, helicopters and all, and then waterways is through ships. So the country is highly dependent on road transportation. There are more than 30 airports in Australia. As it is far away from other continents, it also depends mostly on air transportation to travel from one country to another. So the commuters are the rail transport and road transport are mostly used by the commuters. Commuters are the people who travel certain amount of distance on a daily basis for education or work purpose, etc. They are called as commuters. Explain the population of Australia. Australia is very poorly populated. As of 2019, the population of Australia is about 25.2 million, which is not even 1% to the total world's population. It is about just 0.33% of world's total population. The population density of Australia is just 3% per kilometer. So how the population density is calculated is the total area of a country and the total population of the country, through which they divide it, and then they come across the population density. When the population density is calculated for Australia, it says there are only 3 members per kilometer, and then the urban population of the country is about 85.7%, which is lots of people live in the city side of Australia, whereas the remaining 2% lives in the village areas. Thank you, children. I hope you all understood the lesson. We will continue this lesson as a part of Antarctica in the next class. Till then, go through your book back exercise and then get a map of Australia and then try to mark the physical features and the drainage system of Australia. Thank you. Till then, stay home, stay safe.